You're perfect for student of knowledge. Students of knowledge are always nosy, like, what is he reading? What is he reading? What books he? Yeah, you'll be a good student of knowledge, man. You already got that part down. That's why we used to put we used to take like paper mache and stuff and cover the books up so nobody can see what we're reading. Yeah, because people just like sit there and they try to look at what you're reading. If you're in the masjid reading a book, everybody's like doing like this, trying to see like what's he reading.
That happened to me today with your book.
Huh?
That happened to me today with your book.
Oh, okay.
Early.
Good. That's advertising.
Huh?
Are you ready? It's going. Huh? Oh, well, thanks for letting me know. All right. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillahi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in wa ba'd. Where do we stop at, by the way? Yeah, that's because it's 85 degrees. Huh? What's that? I don't know. What hadith did we stop on?
Because I took notes. Right now we should be on Bab la yusubbul walidayn.
Okay, I'm just making sure. That's where I'm at, but just to make sure. All right, حدثنا محمد بن كثير. First off, call Imam al-Bukhari rahimahullah ta'ala Bab la yusubbu walidayhi. So this is the chapter that a person he doesn't insult his parents. And of course, we're not talking about this is directly and indirectly. So we're going to learn about, generally, most people are not going to directly insult their parents. But so most of it's what he's dealing with in the hadith is the indirect way. So he said, حدثنا محمد بن كثير قال أخبرنا سفيان, and this is Sufyan al-Thawri. قال حدثني سعد بن إبراهيم عن حميد بن عبد الرحمن عن عبد الله بن عمرو رضي الله عنهما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من الكبائر أن يشتم الرجل والديه فقالوا كيف يشتم قال يشتم رجل أباء الرجل فيشتم أباه وأمه. All right, so this hadith is narrated on the authority of Abdullah ibn Amr رضي الله عنهما, in which he said that the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said من الكبائر. All right, من الكبائر, it comes from the word what? Kabira. So this is from the major sins. All right, so من الكبائر أن يشتم الرجل والديه. All right, so from the major sins is that a person what? Insults his parents. فقالوا كيف يشتم. And then the Sahaba, they asked the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, they said كيف يشتم. قال يشتم رجل أبا رجل. So a man will insult the father of another man. All right, he will insult another man's father. All right, فَيَشْتُمُ أَبَاهُ وَأُمَّهُ. And then he, in turn, because he gets angry, to get revenge, and he goes and insults his father and his mother. So for this reason, and this is the way that he now has insulted his parents, because he's the one that started it. Okay, he's the one that bada'a. All right. So because him being the one that started it, then he gets the sin for the person who did it. So because he initiated the action and he started don't. Oh, I thought you were raising your hand. I'm like, come on, like wait. All right. So because he initiated the insulting, which caused the other man to insult his parents, then what happens is he gets the sin for it. All right, and the evidence for this is a hadith here on Abi Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu, عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال المستبان ما قال فعلى البادئ ما لم يعتدي المظلوم. And this hadith is in Sahih Muslim. So Abu Hurairah, he said المستبان على ما قال, that the two people who insult each other, they have what they said. ما قال, whatever they said. فعلى البادئ منهما. So it's from the one who began the insult. The one who started the insult, he's the one that gets the sin. مَا لَمْ يَظْلِمْ. مَا لَمْ يَعْتَدِي الْمَظْلُوم. Sorry. مَا لَمْ يَعْتَدِي الْمَظْلُوم. So as long as he does not transgress. So if he says, you're stupid, and he says, well, you're stupid, but he doesn't transgress. He just returns the insult exactly the way that he said it. As long as he does. But if he says, you're stupid. Well, you're stupid and you're ugly and you're fat and you're dumb, and now he's added. Now he's transgressed. So now he gets the sin for what he said beyond returning the insult. Yeah. All right. And what's the delil for this from the Quran? No. No, that's the person who complains to the hakim. Huh? And uqibtum. All right. When uqibtum fa'aqibu bimithli ma uqibtum bi. All right. So if you've been, again. When ta'aqabtum. Check it. All right, so the ayah here is talking about what? Is in this regard. Whenever somebody comes with some type of transgression against you, and you go back and you return it the way that he gave it. But obviously the forgiveness and forgiving the person is much better. When a'aqabtum. فَعَاقِبُوا مِثْلَ مَا أُقِبْتُمْ بِهِ. Right? Yeah, all right. Jazakallah khair. All right, it's been a long day.
The thing is, I have the whole surah memorized. It's just right now, my brain.
Yeah, I'm the same, man. So Allah. I've been like that all day long. I'm surprised I didn't mess up the khutbah today, man. Allah. I was so nervous in the khutbah today. I was like, man, because Fajr was just horrible. I was making so many mistakes in the salat this morning, so it was like I was like, man, the khutbah's just gonna be worse, Now I thought I was just gonna start making mistakes because it's just Fajr, like my whole brain, it was just like, we just sometimes you just, you just get blanks, like the screen freezes, and you're like, you gotta reset the whole, restart the whole computer just to, so Allah musta'an. So that's the deal. So the person who starts it off, he's the person that gets the sin, as long as the person at the mavlum, the person who's oppressed initially, does not transgress and go further. So if he insults, if he says something, obviously if a person insults your father, then from the the righteousness of a Muslim is what? What? You don't insult his father. Yeah, exactly. we don't lower ourselves down to the level of fools, So either khatamuhum al-jahilu is qalu salama, so they don't that's from the Ibad ar-Rahman, is that they don't respond to them. So when they speak with jahl, which is just ignorance, which is this type of behavior of insults and foolishness, qalu salama. It's just gone. They don't have anything. They don't return it, because by you returning it to the person, that's just added fuel to the fire. So if the person comes up and insults your father or whatever, yeah, I'm out of here. I got nothing to do with this, because especially if it's a Muslim, I'm gonna sit here and just fight over this,
After Fajr, some guy, he insulted my mother right outside my house.
A kafir or what?
A kafir, yeah, he's a kafir Mexican.
The kuffar, akhi, nobody cares what they say, man.
And it was a big insult. It wasn't just like any.
Yeah, but the kuffar, akhi, they're just whatever. They already live in punishment, in the morning and the evening. Is the sound okay? You sure? Okay. All right, because I got the mic over here, so yeah. All right, so the next hadith, Hadathana Muhammad ibn Salam. Now there's a difference, they said, some of the people narrated Muhammad ibn Salam, tashdid al-lam, and some of them they narrated Muhammad ibn Salam without the tashdid, without the shadda. And the asla, the correct opinion is that it's without the shadda. Muhammad ibn Salam. قال أخبرنا مخلد, and Makhlad هو ibn Yazid al-Harrani. All right, and he's Hasan al-Hadith, so he's not from his hadith is accepted, but he's Hasan, so that makes the hadith now Hasan. All right, so أخبرنا مخلد قال أخبرنا ابن جريج عبد الملك ابن عبد العزيز. All right, so قال سمعت محمد بن الحارث بن سفيان يزعم أن عروة بن عياض أخبره أنه سمع عبد الله بن عمرو بن العاص رضي الله عنهما يقول من الكبائر عند الله تعالى أن يستسب الرجل ولوالده. All right, and this, of course, is like, similar to the hadith before it. That the person, and يستسب الرجل لوالده. So the explanation of this hadith is the hadith before it. All right, which means that a person will insult another person's father, which causes him to insult his father. So it's him insulting. He gets the sin for the insults of his father, because he's the one that started it. All right, and of course we know from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam what? ما كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فاحشا ولا متفاحشا. So all these types of insults and this type of vulgar speech and all this is not from the speech of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and this is not his way. So خير هدي هدي Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But people get angry, and people fall into different things that cause them to say things that they regret. But the person who has an aql, the person who has a real mind, he thinks about things before he says them, so he doesn't have to regret them. Because all it takes is 1 minute of anger, and you can live a whole lifetime full of regret off of 1 minute of anger. So Allahumma musta'an. So tonight's an open night. So I chose a poem from Imam Shafi'i. Yallah. You can look it up on your phone real fast so you can read along with it.
No, I didn't mean as an insult. I said, yalla, let's jump into it.
But look it up. There's the first line of the poem so you can find it. بلوت بني الدنيا فلم أرى فيهم. بلوت بني الدنيا فلم أرى فيهم. Don't worry, I'm going to translate it though. I'm just like I'm telling him what it is so he can find it for online. Yeah. فلم أرى فيهم. All right, Imam Shafi'i, yeah. You found it? سوى من غدا والبخل ملء إهابه. All right. So now, let's begin. All right, so قال الإمام الشافعي رحمه الله. He said, بلوت بني الدنيا فلم أرى فيهم سوى من. You want me to read the whole poem first and then explain it? All right. بلوت بني الدنيا فلم أرى فيهم سوى من غدا والبخل ملء إهابه. فجردت من غمد القناعة صارما قطعت رجائي منهم بذبابه. Yeah. Because I got it all with notes and everything. فلا ذا يراني واقفا في طريقه ولا ذا يراني قاعدا عند بابه. غني بلا مال عن الناس كلهم وليس الغنى إلا عن الشيء لا به. That's a powerful. That's the one I can't wait to get to. إذا ما ظالم استحسن الظلم مذهبا ولج عتوا في قبيح اكتسابه فقله إلى صرف الليالي فإنها ستدعي له ما لم يكن في حسابه. فكم رأينا ظالما متمردا يرى النجم تيحا تحت ظل ركابه. فعم قليلا وهو في غفلاته أناقت صروف الحادثات ببابه. فأصبح لا مال ولا جاه يرتجى ولا حسنات تلتقي في كتابه. وجزي بالأمر الذي كان فاعلا وصب عليه الله صوت عذابه. Very powerful poem. You understand it? No. You didn't understand anything.
In my mind, I flunked my chemistry test today.
Good for you.
In my mind, I understood from it. When I'm me, I can't grab a shot off of it.
All right. So he said, "Balawtu bani dunya falam ara fihim." Balawtu, it means that I tested the people of the dunya. I tested them to see how they're gonna act. Falam ara fihim, and I didn't see in them siwa man ghada wal bukhlu min ayhabihi. This part of the poem really this is the one line. It just kind of gave me an issue. All right, so, and I'll explain what the issue is right now. The rest is very easy, inshallah, but this one line. All right, so he said, I tested the people of the dunya, and I didn't see, I didn't see in them anything except the man that he would go out. And basically the meaning of the line of poetry is that he will go out Ghada. We talked about al-ghada wa raha. All right, that he will go out early in the day and he's just full of just miserliness and stinginess. And this bukhul is not just a bukhul bil, because it's not just with the money, but it's also with what? Well, yeah, with himself, with his knowledge, with whatever it is that he has that the people need. So he said, that I tested them, I put them to the test, and I didn't see anything from them except that they go out every day in the morning because all they're concerned about is the dunya and trying to get for himself. Like his whole, if you were to ask the majority of the people of the dunya what their goals are, what are you trying to achieve in your life? It's mostly, I want to buy this house, I want to buy this car. It's all about like nafsi, nafsi, nafsi. But none of them are trying to think like, okay, I want to go overseas and I want to study my religion and I want to get knowledge so I can go back and teach the people and and get the jahal and the ignorance away from the people. And I want to call the people to tawheed. You don't see this as the goals of the majority of the people. But what you see is their goals is what? Yeah, it's nafsi, nafsi. So this is a form of stinginess. Now, even though, and we don't say that, okay, well, but I have guests over, or if I have, whenever I have money, because whenever you have a surplus, you're generous. But you're going to have that same generosity and that same hospitality when you're poor? See, what was the miza of the Arabs in the time of Jahiliyyah?
They were very generous.
They were so generous to the point that if a guest came to them and all they had was their camel, their she-camel that they used to get the milk from, and that's the only thing that they had, or their most expensive camel, and the guest came and that's the only thing that they had to feed that guest, they would go and they would slaughter that camel and feed it to them. You understand? So this was their state. Whatever they had, they would give it, and they wouldn't hold it back from the guests. So this is generosity, and this is karama, is that you're able to give whether you're in a state, because anybody that has a surplus of wealth, if he's got more than what he needs, it's easy to say what? The father, hey, here you go, hey man, go get you something from the restaurant, go get you a Starbucks. No, astaghfirullah, not Starbucks, but go get you a coffee, go get you something, go get you, but you know what I'm saying? Nah, man, my issue with Starbucks is not their issue with Starbucks. When I say Starbucks, it's because of the shirk. It's the goddess of the sea. That's the logo of Starbucks. That's why I told the people, stop bringing these cups into the masjid. It's not about this other thing. I mean, our concern is about tawheed first and foremost. Anything that goes against tawheed, that's why I told the people, I said, if you're going to protest Starbucks, you should protest it because of the shirk that they call to on their logo first and foremost, because they've been doing that for years. They've been doing that since the company's inception. So, but all right, so that's what he's saying. He says, "Siwa man ghada wal bukhlu mil ihabihi." So he's just full of, just miserliness and stinginess, because all he's thinking about is the things that he can get for himself, and he's trying to fulfill his own desires. That's what he's out to get. And that's what most of the people you see are what? Out to get. If you ask a woman, and you say, what are you looking for in a husband? How many women are going to say, I want a husband who's going to teach me and make me a better person? No, she's going to say, I want a man that makes me laugh. I want a man that does this. All she's thinking about is what? And the man the same. Well, the men are a little bit simpler to please, but, cook and other things. But you know what I'm saying? But, a man is a lot simpler to please. But the point is that everybody is looking for the things that he desires or she desires. And they're not focusing on what? The community is not an issue. They're not going out every single day in the morning thinking about, okay, I'm going to go out and we're going to make this community stronger. And we're going to, so their goals are always for themselves. And that's what he saw from the people. He said, فَجَرَّتُ مِنْ, after he saw this. Now, he saw that this is how the people are, right? He said, فَجَرَّتُ مِنْ غِمْدِ الْقَنَاعَةِ صَارِمًا قَطَعْتُ رَجَاءِ مِنْهُمْ بِذُبَابِهِ. So he said, after I saw the people like this, فَجَرَّتُ مِنْ غِمْدِ الْقَنَاعَةِ صَارِمًا. Al-ghimd is what? No, it's the sheath of a sword. So he called the sheath of qana'ah. He said this is the sheath of contentment. So he's giving you like this figurative type language, right? So he said that I took out a sword from the sheath of contentment, because why? The people that are going out every single day, again, trying to fulfill their desires. So what did he say? I am going to pull out this sword, this sharp sword, from the sheath of contentment. That means I'm not going to do what they're doing. I'm not going to take on their behavior of going out and trying to get the dunya and focusing only on myself, but I'm going to be content. You know, whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives me, I'm content. Then he said after that, he said, فَجَرَّدْتُ مِنْ غِمْدِ الْقَنَاعَةِ فَجَرَّدَ. Jarrat shay, it means to what? To take it out, or even to take it off. Like, you know, you can say فَجَرَّتُهُ عَنْ مَلَابِسِهِ. You know, it's like you to take off the, you know, to take his clothes off. Well, you shouldn't take his clothes. You know what I'm saying? but if they made him take his clothes off, then you say like, but jarrada, it can be like that. All right, but you know, so here, but jarrada, it means that he separated the sword from the sheath, pulled the sword out of the sheath until it became, you know, like bare to the people. You can see the sword. قَطَعْتُ رَجَاءِ مِنْهُمْ. And he said, and I used the sword of contentment to cut my hope with the people. And see the beautiful language, right? And قَطَعْتُ رَجَاءِ مِنْهُمْ بِذُبَابِهِ. And the dhubab of the sword is what? No. The dhubab of a sword. The dhubab of sayf is a tarafayhi, is the blade. It's the blade of the sword. Yeah. The sharp part, the blade. So he said, I cut off my hope with the people with the blade of this sword that I took out of the sheath of contentment. Which means basically, like what he's saying to the people is what? I chose to live my life with contentment and cut off all hope with the people. You know, because the people are really busy with what? They're busy with themselves. And they're only really, the 9 times out of 10, I wouldn't say 9 times out of 10. 10 times out of 10. Everybody, like all of our relationships with people are based on what? Masalih. Do you have a relationship with a person that's not based on a maslahah? Is it possible to have a relationship? Because it's either a maslahah diniyah or it's a maslahah dunyawiyah. Either one, I become friends with a person because the person motivates me to be a better Muslim, motivates me to be in the masjid, motivates me to read more Quran. So I feel, you know, motivated around this person. So I'm friends with this person. So there's a good maslahah. And this is a beneficial, you know, using of the people, right? Because you're getting a maslahah that's in your deen, you know, that helps you for this life and the next life. And then you can also take that same behavior and you can give it to the next person. But then the other people who are only what? I'm friends with this person because he makes me laugh. Or he's friends with this person because they pay for everything. Or he's friends with this person because, you know, whatever, you know, however the people, you know, with the dunya, because he feeds me all the time, you know, or whatever, you know. Or he's just cool and all the girls are around him. So he wants to be around this guy because why? The females, you know, whatever the case may be. So there's always a maslahah with all of our relationships with each other. But the maslahah, what's the difference between the mu'min and everybody else? Yes, our maslahah is to help each other get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, so alhamdulillah, you know, and these are from the people, you know, that get the shade of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the 7 people that get the shade of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the Day of Judgment, where the Prophet ﷺ said, أَنِّي رَجُلَانِ تَحَابَ لِلَّهِ أَنِّي اجْتَمَعَ عَلَيْهِ وَتَفَرَّقَ عَلَيْهِ. So two people that come together and they only love each other only for the sake of Allah. They congregate on the, you know, with the love, you know, loving for the sake of Allah, and with the farraqa alayhi. And they split on that. You know, once the one person, he decides that he no longer wants to follow the deen, that's the end of the relationship. Because there's that maslahah that the relationship was built upon, it doesn't exist anymore. And this is why you see the majority of the relationships whenever people talk about like what? Marriages. You know, why did the marriage? Because the woman married you for a certain maslahah. And she's going to stay with you as long as that maslahah, as long as that benefit remains. If that benefit doesn't remain, then she's got no reason to be with you anymore. You understand? And you're going to stay with that woman as long as, you know, like if you just married a woman for her beauty. So what happens now when she has 2 kids and that beauty starts to fade? So now you're like, well, you got to go. I got another maslahah to catch, you know. Now you're going to be out looking for another one, right? But if you had a different maslahah, like for example, if you married her because she was good with children, and then you're having children with her, khalas, you think you're going to leave that woman anytime soon? No, because you didn't. That was the purpose of what you married her for in the first place. So you see, as long as that maslahah remains, as long as that benefit remains, the relationship between the people. But the believers, Our relationships are on what? On his deen. So once that deen it's not there, it's not in the equation anymore, then that maslahah is not in the equation anymore, then that relationship is done. It's over. There's nothing between us, you know. So Allahumma musta'an. So that's, What? What? That's from the sticker from this. When I was fixing the camera, the sticker came off. All right. So he said, فَلَا ذَا يَرَانِي وَاقِفًا فِي طَرِيقِهِ وَلَا ذَا يَرَانِي قَاعِدًا عِنْدَ بَابِهِ. So he said, this person is not going to see me standing in his pathway, waiting for him to ask him. You know, he's like, I don't need anything from you, basically. That's what he's saying. You're not going to find me in the pathways waiting for you, try to get something to try to get something from you. وَلَا ذَا يَرَانِي قَاعِدًا عِنْدَ بَابِهِ. And this person is not going to see me sitting at his door waiting for him to come out to get something from him. So basically he said, because he said he cut off all the hope with the people. So he said, nobody's going to see me in this state of like sitting around just, you know, waiting to get something from the people. He said, غَنِيٌّ بِلَا مَالٍ عَنِ النَّاسِ كُلِّهِمْ وَلَيْسَ الْغِنَى إِلَّا عَنِ الشَّيْءِ لَا بِهِ. This line of poetry right here is the whole reason why I said I'm going to read this. This is what we're going to go over. If we stop here, wallahi, it's sufficient for the night. He said, I am rich with no money. غَنِيٌّ بِلَا مَالٍ. And he said, I'm rich with no money. عَنِ النَّاسِ كُلِّهِمْ. He said, I'm rich and no need of the people, even though I have what? I have no money, but I have no need for the people. He said, وَلَيْسَ الْغِنَى إِلَّا عَنِ الشَّيْءِ. He said that real richness is that you're rich from something, not that you're rich what? With something. Because true richness is what? إِنَّ الْغِنَى غِنَى نَفْسِ. Just like the Prophet ﷺ said, that real ghina is contentment. You know, that milk al-qana'a, you know, that you have, that you're content, that you possess contentment in all your affairs. So he said that you know, the real richness is being able to live without something. Because if you have to have something to live, أنت مفتقر إليه. You understand? You're poor. You're in need of that thing. So anybody that's in need of something to live is what? He's poor. Even if he has all the money in the world. But he has to continue to make that money to what? To keep up that lifestyle that he's living. So he's poor. He's poor because he's enslaved right now to his own desires. He's got to work and bust his back every day, because now, not only now has he been living to fulfill his own desires, but once he started getting money, the people around him started also getting the taste of enjoying their own desires. So his wife and his children, now he's also got to work to do what? To support their, not to take care of them, because it's not like he's feeding them, 3 square meals a day, No, it's like, no, he's giving them, all the extra things. So now he becomes a slave to that. Now he's working now he can't stop doing what he wants to do, even though he hates his job, even though he hates what he's doing. He can't stop now, because now so is this person rich or is this person poor? But then you see that poor person who doesn't have money, but he's happy. He's like, I'm cool. What I have, alhamdulillah, is a ni'mah from Allah. It's a blessing from Allah. That's the rich person, because he's not in need of anything and he's not in need of anybody. He puts his trust in Allah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives him what he needs, and he's content. That's real richness. That's what, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, إِنَّ الْغِنَى غِنَى نَفْسِ. And الإنسان يستغني عن الله، يعني يستغني عن الناس، استغفر الله. يستغني بالله عن الناس. That's what I want to say. Like he goes and, he seeks his richness from Allah and away from the people. He gets away from the people. So yeah, man, it says, يستغني عن الناس, man. So this is the whole point, is that, as long as you stay in need of people and you stay in need of stuff, you're always poor. You're always poor. So Allahumma sallam. I said, khalas, that was enough, right? You want to finish it? Oh, the rest is still good. He said, إِذَا مَا ظَالِمٌ اسْتَحْسَنَ الظُّلْمَ مَذْهَبًا وَلَجَّ عَتُوًّا فِي قَبِيهِ اكْتِسَابِهِ. He said, if a zalim, if an oppressor ever chooses the path, and like he begins to beautify the path of oppression, Like, it's one thing for a person to oppress and to realize that he's doing something wrong and he feels sadness and regret for it. But then, just like I was speaking about in the khutbah, you got the people that, they try to justify it. Did I speak about that today? I can't remember. Maybe it was something else. Maybe it was a Friday. Maybe it was in Bukhari. I don't know. But the point is that,
I don't remember you mentioning anything with justifying sins.
yeah. Maybe I'll go back and listen to it, inshallah. But
justify what?
The oppression that he's doing. But you have the one person, he does oppression, and he knows that he's done wrong. All right, and he feels regret. Now this person, inshallah, you have hope for him, that he'll eventually repent and go back to the correct path and accept advice. Then you have another person, he does oppression, he knows it's wrong, but he tries to what? Tries to justify it, tries to say, no, but you understand, I know, but I'm not doing it for that purpose. I'm doing it for this, like the people that sell alcohol saying, well, but I'm only selling alcohol to kuffar, I won't sell to Muslims. Are you stupid? Like, seriously, are you stupid? Like how, again, like, ma'alakum kayfa tahkumun, it's like, seriously, like, how is your mind functioning like that? You think that alcohol is only impermissible to sell to Muslims? Allah musta'an. So again, these are the people that try to justify their wrong actions. I've seen people, even drug dealers, but I only sell drugs to kuffar. I'm trying to destroy the kuffar. How do you know? Well, how do you know that each person that buys drugs from you is a kafir? You don't know. We don't even know in America who's a Muslim. How many times a person comes up to you on the streets, you're wearing a thobe, or just dressed like a Muslim, however, kufi or something, and he comes up to you and says, Salaam alaikum. You're like, you Muslim? Says, yeah, dude, probably. I've seen homeless people. One time when I was in Atlanta, dude, a homeless drunk guy came running up to us. He's just happy to see a Muslim. Say, yeah, I'm a Muslim, but, I'm not really acting Islamic right now. I was like, yeah, well, we can see that. Yeah, but we advise them and try to, just, get your life right, Nobody going to hold that against you, but just try to work to get your life right. All right. So, but then you got the person, he does the oppression. What does he do? He beautifies it. Because, again, this is about the people that I did speak about this in the khutbah today. What did I say about the person in the Qur'an? And then the last part, وَيَحْسَبُونَ أَنَّهُمْ مُهْتَدُونَ. So they're doing all types of sins and oppression, and they think that they're on the correct guidance. So this type of person, because he thinks he's on the correct guidance, he's going to beautify it. He's going to beautify it, and he's going to really think that he's on something. So he said, whenever you see like this type of oppressor, and it takes the route or the path of beautifying that oppression. He said, وَلَجَّ عَتُوًا فِي قَبِيهِ اكْتِسَابِهِ. The word lajja, it comes from the word, you can have like two. The madara is lajja yalajju, or lajja yalajju. All right, and if you say like lajja fil amr, according to the qamus, it's a tamada fihi mu'anidan. My writing, I wrote this after my nap, so there's a lot of scratches and it looks like a chicken wrote it. So I wrote, right, tamada fihi mu'anidan lazamahu wa aba an yansarifa anhu. Did that even make sense to you? He said tamada fihi. It means that you're not, like whenever you're in oppression, tamada fihi. That means that you go deeper into that oppression. Instead of like pulling back and repenting or slowing it down a little bit, you increased and you went deeper into it. This is about the hadith about the fitna that's going to come in the last days, where the Prophet ﷺ said, لا يترك هذه فتنة لا تترك فتنة باب من بيت من بيوت العرب إلا لطمته لطمة كلما يظن الناس أنه انقضت تمادت. So he said that there's going to be a fitna in the last days. It's not going to leave one house amongst all of the houses of the Arabs, except it's going to latamahu latma. It's going to punch each person, at least one punching. It's going to hit everybody. hit every single house of the Arabs. All right, he said that this fitna in the last days. And he said, كُلَّمَا يَظُنُّ النَّاسَ أَنَّهَا انْقَضَتْ. As soon as the people think that it's finished and it's over, like, khala, it's done. Tamadat. It gets bigger. You know, and the fitna gets bigger and it gets worse. All right. So that's what tamada. So he says, لَجَّ أَنِ فِي الْأَمْرِ تَمَادَ فِيهِ مُعَانِدًا. That means that he does it in a very obstinate, stubborn way. لَازَمَهُ وَأَبَى أَنْ يَنْصَرَفْ عَنْهُ. And it becomes a part of his habitual nature. You know, where it's like he always does it, and you know, and he refuses to go away from this type of act. So this is what he said. وَلَجَّ عُتُوًا. عُتُوًا, it means what? عُتُوًا, it means takabburan. It's arrogance. All right, it's arrogance, and in you transgress, and it's a tajawuz al-had, like, you know, transgressing, but in a very arrogant way. Yeah, it's in the Quran. Yeah. So he said, وَلَجَّ عُتُوًا فِي قَبِيهِ اكْتِسَابِهِ. So he starts to, like, what? Once he starts to beautify his oppression, so he's gone through the repenting stage of like the regret. Then he went to the justification. And then after he's been in the justification, his heart gets hardened. And what happens now? Now he beautifies it. He said, once you see a person now, he's beautified the oppression. And he's now taking that path of going deep and delving deep into this very arrogant form of transgression. And, you know, he said, fi qabihi ihtisabihi. Al-qabih, it means what? Ugly. Yeah, despicable, ugly. Ihtisabihi is what he's earned from his actions. All right, because it comes from iktasaba, yaktasibu iktisaban. So iktisabihi, fi qabihi iktisabi, from his despicable earnings. All right, what he's earned from his own hands because of his oppression. So he said after that, he said if you see a person now, this is his nature. He said فَقِلْهُ إِلَى صَرَفَ اللَّيَالِ فَإِنَّهَا سَتَدْعِي لَهُ مَا لَمْ يَكُنْ فِي حِسَابِهِ. He said then leave him. Don't try to, like, you know, if you know why? He's not a person who's showing regret. He's showing stubbornness and rejection of the truth and transgression against the truth. He said leave him. Don't try to go back and forth with him. Leave him. فَكِلْهُ إِلَى صَرَفَ اللَّيَالِ. Leave him to the changing of the nights. Because as the nights change, what's going to happen? You think that he's going to stay up here? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to flip his affairs over. So he said, leave him. Leave him as for the changing of the nights. فَإِنَّهَا سَتَدْعِي. Because it's going to call him, it's going to call to him, مَا لَمْ يَكُنْ فِي حِسَابِهِ. It's going to call to him all the things because of his actions. Because we know, al-jazaa what? Men jins al-amal will come out to dino to dan. All right, so the things that you do, they have repercussions and they have consequences. How you act is how the people are going to treat you. If you act nice, the people will reciprocate niceness. If you act like a fool, people are going to treat you like what? Like a fool, So it's how you act is how you're going to see that the people are going to treat you. Come out to dino to dan. All right, jazaa min jins al-amal, that you have consequences for your actions. All right, so when you do an action, you're going to see the consequences of that action come back on you sooner or later. So he said, so when you see that person going to this level of oppression, he said, leave him as the changing of the nights, because soon he'll all of his actions they're gonna come to a halt, and it's all going to collapse on his head. And that's what he says now. فَكَمْ رَأَيْنَا ظَالِمًا مُتَمَرِّدًا يَرَى النَّجْمَ تَيْهًا تَحْتَ ظِلِّ رِكَابِهِ. So here again, he's talking about the arrogance of this person. He said, how many people have we seen? Very, very, very oppressive people. مُتَمَرِّدًا. And what does mutamarrid mean? Like rebellious. Because the shaitan is akbar al-mutamarrid. He's the biggest rebellious person. Like he's very, very rebellious, and rebellious against the truth, and rebellious against obedience. He doesn't like any type of, because obviously what do people rebel against? Well, generally they rebel against authority. And the deen, you know, and what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down, this is authority. And they don't like that. They reject it and they rebel against it. So when you say that this is haram, it's like he feels like he's got to rebel against it because he doesn't accept you. Like, how can you tell me something's haram? And then he'll go and he'll do it, just like shaitan. So he said, فَكَمْ رَأَيْنَا ظَالِمًا مُتَرَّ. How many rebellious oppressors have we seen? يَرَى نَجْمُ تَيْهَانَ. He sees the star. He sees like a star. Tayhan, like a one, like he sees, like he's on his horse or whatever his animal that he's riding. He's so arrogant that as he's riding on his horse, he sees like the star wandering underneath him. That's how high he thinks he is. You know, because of his rebellious and oppressive nature, that he sees himself so high that he's like above the stars, that he sees them like lost underneath him. Because Tayhan, it means like it's wandering and lost. All right. Yeah. In the Quran? No. The word tay. No, but the verb. Tahayatihu. No. No, this is tahayatihu. Not taha. No, that's a whole nother thing anyway. So he said, Yara Najma Tayhan is just lost and wandering. Tahta dhilla rikabihi. Underneath the shade of his riding animal. The stars are just lost and wandering. That's how high he sees himself, right? Then after that, he said, فَأَمَّا قَلِيلًا وَهُوَ فِي غَفَلَاتِهِ أَنَاخَتْ صُرُوفُ الْحَادِثَاتِ بِبَابِهِ. He said, and only it is after a very short period of time, and then he's in a state of negligence and heedlessness. Which is good because this is what the khutbah was about today, which is about what? Being heedless, right? So there you go. So once he gets into that state where he's very heedless, أَنَاخَتْ صُرُوفُ الْحَادِثَاتِ بِبَابِهِ. Anakha, it means to what? Aqama, to like stay in a place. So now what happens is all the problems, all the changing of his affairs, it comes and stands at his door now. You know, now he's lived this life of oppression, of arrogance, of obstinacy, and now all of the problems now is about to flip on him. And they come and they stand at his door. They just wait for him to come out and jump on him and pounce on him. Because you say, Anakha bihi al-bala'u. In the Arabic language, you can say, Anakha bihi al-bala'u wa dhul, yani halla bihi wa lazimahu. So you say anakha bihi al-bala', it means that like basically the tribulations they just don't leave him. They stay with him, like muqim عنده. All right. فأصبح لا مال ولا جاه يرتجى ولا حسنات تلتقي في كتابه. So now he goes into the morning. Once all those tribulations come to him, now he becomes what? He's got no money and no jah. What does the word jah mean in Arabic language? Jah, it means that you have like a high status. You have like a say-so with people, right? Like basically, if you need to get something done in Fresno, right? And you're like, well, you can't get the permit? Let me call somebody in the mayor's office. But it's stronger than that. Like you have like that type of like I don't know how, like clout with the people. Yeah, you got pull with the people. So when you get on the phone with the person and say, hey man, I got a friend here, he's trying to get a permit and you guys rejected him. Oh, tell him to come back and we'll stamp it and khalas. This is the type of person he has, jah. If one of us were to call the mayor's office and say, hey man, we had a friend, he's like, man, click. It's like, don't you call again. They're just gonna hang up because we don't have that. But these are like, the big businessmen and the people with money and because obviously like a lot of this stuff, it comes from what? It's corruption, basically, because you support the campaign of different politicians, so they owe you what? No, they owe you favors. So it's a form of rishwa. So that's what they do. They take their money and they try to get favors. So you see overseas, that's what you do. You got money, and you got like a strong family, khalas. As long as you got that type of, you'll be able to tell anybody to do anything for you. It's easy for you to get things done. But a person who doesn't have that jah, Yeah, but this person now, he's got no money. He had all this. But because he was so oppressive and arrogant, now all the tribulations came on him. Now he wakes up, now he's got none of it. No money, no pull with the people. Nobody cares about him. Now he calls the people, they hang up in his face now. They don't care about him anymore. So la jahun and yurata jah. So he has no hope with the people now for even any help. He said, wala hasanatun, and he never did any good deeds. He spent his time in arrogance and oppression. وَلَا حَسَنَاتٌ تَلْتَقِي فِي كِتَابِهِ. So now the book that he's going to get on the Day of Judgment, he's got no hasanat in that book. Nothing. And what is he talking about here? Because I didn't think about this when I read the poem before. But he's talking about what? When does a person now, when is it that, none of this benefits you? No money, no jah, and now you have no hasanat. When? When you die. So this person, I didn't even think about this until I read it right now. But the person, he died. So now he's going to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and now what? All that stuff that you had in the dunya, call up fulan, something happens, maybe the police arrest you, can call somebody up, get you out of jail, get you a good lawyer, get the charges dropped. No, those days are done. Now you have to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with what you've done from what? From the good. And you have nothing. This guy's got nothing but oppression, arrogance, and all this type of transgression against the people. So now he's got no money. It's going to benefit. And even if he had the whole earth full of money, is it going to benefit him anything on the Day of Judgment? Nothing. Nothing. Wala jah. Well, you're going to sit there and say, oh, but yeah, Rabbi, I know fulan, just talk to fulan. No. Your Lord created fulan. What does he care about fulan? So Allah musta'an. Wala hasanatun. So he's got no good deeds in his book. Now he's going to stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala like this. He said, وَجُزِيَ بِالْأَمْرِ الَّذِي كَانَ فَاعِلًا. And we talked about this just recently. وَجَزَاءُ مِنْ جِنْسِ الْأَمْرِ. مِنْ جِنْسِ الْعَمَلِ, sorry. So here he said, وَجُزِيَ بِالْأَمْرِ الَّذِي كَانَ فَاعِلًا. So his actions that he did in the earth, now he's going to get his just recompense for those actions. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to give him exactly what he deserves. This is the jaza'. وَصَبَّ عَلَيْهِ اللَّهُ صَوْتَ عَذَابِهِ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to pour his punishment onto him. And as the judge, he mentioned this, and the judge is from the Al-Amma fi Lugha. And he's got a book, I think it's called Ma'ani al-Quran. He's got a bunch of books in the Lugha. But he said about the using of the word salt. Because here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَصَبَّ عَلَيْهِ اللَّهُ صَوْتَ عَذَابِهِ. And the word salt, it means a whip. All right, it means that he poured forth it's like if you translated it literally, it would say that Allah poured the whip of punishment on him. All right, but this is not what it means. It said, جَعَلَ صَوْتَهُ الَّذِي ضَرَبَهُمْ بِهِ الْعَذَابِ. So the whip that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses to punish is his punishment for the people. So because the Arabs, they consider the whip as what? No, it's the worst punishment other than just killing somebody. Because the thing about it is, you just chop a dude's head, like what they do, like in countries where they just chop his head off, right? For as a capital punishment. You don't feel anything, khalas. But if you get whipped, dude, you're gonna feel that so the Arabs, they used to consider that as the worst of all punishments. So whenever they talked about this, فَصَبَّ عَلَيْهِ صَوْتَ عَذَابِهِ, it means that Allah is going to give him the worst of all of the punishments, the worst of it all. Because of what the Arabs consider the assault, the worst of all punishments. So yeah, there's a lot of meaning in it, huh? Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Huh? You didn't bring your notebook today?
No, because he said it was open.
I said it's open, but you don't know what I'll come with, man. I'll read something. I might read a hadith and I'll say, let's go over the hadith. I said it's open. That doesn't mean we don't study anything. We don't go over anything. No. I was reading through these poems yesterday. Not yesterday, the day before yesterday. And when I came across this, I told Saif, I was like, man, come here, listen to this. So I said, nah, man, we got to do this. We got to go over this poem.
Where is Saif?
Saif is not feeling well.
I seen him at the khut.
No, he was at the no, was he? Yeah. Yeah, you.
I shook his hand and he was right next to you over here.
No, he went home and went to sleep. But
He was back here.
Yeah, he was here. Yeah.
Oh, I went to sleep. That sounds very good today.
Any questions here?
Can I open your Fathul Majid?
Yeah. Hold on, just check and see if there's any questions before we wrap this up. Is there anybody even there? Because you haven't said anything today.
Oh, also, I have a request. If you
I'm not a DJ, that I have a request.
no, like some, not really like a request, but.
Can you give a shout out? Shout out to my homeboy.
No, because if there's class tomorrow, and like right now, if you like have the salah like around this time, like 9:30, I should be able to make it for the Isha salah. Because I close from opening. I work from opening to closing.
Under one condition. You gonna be here tomorrow, inshallah? All right. He works at a halal hamburger place, right? So he said he wants us to stay here until 9:30 and pray Isha at 9:30 so he can catch the salat with us. So I give him one condition. And what do you think that condition is? Exactly. Alhamdulillah. You bring us a bag full of burgers, we'll be willing to wait. It'll be worth the wait.
Yes, sir. So who's gonna wake up for Fajr? Those burgers.
We'll wake up for Fajr, inshallah. I've gotten up and come here and taught Bukhari after eating Ben and Jerry's at 12 o'clock, inshallah. We'll make it, inshallah. Inshallah, you know.
Yeah, that's some sweet.
Yes.
Sweet ice cream.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you can do that, you can eat a burger and come here the next day. That's
Chunky monkey.
That's what I call him. I used to always call him. I called him Chunky Monkey until I realized they actually had an ice cream called Chunky Monkey.
Everything. I think someone's saying, Ustaz, how to deal with people how to deal with people calling you Wahhabi.
I don't deal with them. Deal with what?
That was the question.
That
was the question.
With a smile. Smile because they're insulting you because of your deen. They're not insulting you because of something personal. So, I mean, if you're calling the Tawheed and the people want to do that, I mean, alhamdulillah, you're in the path of the messenger. What did they call him? Sahir, Kahin, Majnoon, you know, Kadab. No, I'm saying this is what they called him, though. No, but they called him Sahirun Kadab. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said it in the Quran. So, I mean, they said, you know, they called him Kahin, they called him Majnoon, they called him all these types of names. You know, because the thing about it is fools, the people are only going to call you names. Why? No, because they can't argue with your evidence. If they can argue with your evidence, then let them come with evidence. If you think that what I'm saying is not true, hatu burhanakum in kuntum sadiqeen. Because if we're people of deen and we're people of knowledge, and we deal with things with knowledge, deal with things with the Quran and the Sunnah. If you think that I'm wrong, tell you, I'm a human being. I'll be wrong. Bring the evidence, though. But insults, that's a fool. That's a fool's approach to debating. That's a fool's approach to dealing with any type. That's immaturity of a person. And that he can't even argue with you, you know, because he's so scared of the truth to the point where he's got to just insult. And nah, khalas. You don't deal with people like that. You don't deal with them at all.
Are you willing to do jarh with ta'deed right now or no?
I'm not even, that's not my...
But like,
I'm not qualified for that. You got ulama to do that.
I meant like, so like someone asked you if you could learn from, can we take knowledge from, he mentioned a name, he says, can we mention him or no?
What's his name?
I think.
Do it in sign language. I don't understand sign language. No, just say the name. Wait, what's the name? No, what's the name?
I don't know. I heard he graduated from Medina University. Can he be taken on Islamic finance?
I don't know what he teaches and I don't know what he does, so I don't know. I know I went to high school with Joe Bradford. That's not the last time that I've only spoken to him once or twice in the last 20-something years. But me and Joe Bradford, we went to high school together. All I know from those days is that he loved the Sunnah. I don't know what he's doing now. I don't know anything about, because I don't follow these people in America. I don't listen to them and I don't follow them. So And I've spoken to the brother like maybe just briefly when I first came back to America, and that's it. But I don't follow up with what they're doing. So you need to ask people who actually follow that stuff. For me, listening to that and following those people is a waste of time. So
that is the Ash'ariyya and Maturidiyya from Ahlul Bid'ah. Hence, we can make tabdi' of their followers and scribes.
or they were. Is that the? Do you think that the Aqidah of the Sahaba was the Aqidah Ash'ariyya wal Maturidiyya? So khalas, and it's bid'ah. I mean, if you're not prepared to ascribe this type of stuff to the Salaf, to the Sahaba, and to the Kibar Tabi'een, then if you're not ready to ascribe it to them, then obviously what does that tell you? The question is answered. All of these madahib, they came like hundreds of years later after the Sahaba. So the same thing that we talk about Christianity, what we say about why is Christianity false? They went and they started putting all this stuff together hundreds of years after there's Jesus. I don't even like to use that name, Jesus, but I use it because all of this Bible stuff it's all just made up anyways. But but the point is that we sit there and say like, what? They came with this stuff hundreds of years later. Well, these people also came with all this stuff, what? Hundreds of years later. And we're going to sit here and say that these people knew better about the Asma wa Sifat than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught his messenger, that he taught his messenger, or that he, better than Allah, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he mentioned these qawaid of Ahl Sunnah, the qawaid of Ahl Sunnah, we take them from the Quran. Allah mentioned this in the Quran, Laysa kamithli shay'in wa huwa as-sami'ul basir. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he did the ithbat of the Asma wa Sifat. So, and he never, like all that type of ta'wil and all this type of stuff that they do, khalas. I mean, do you see that from the Sahaba? So what? So where did they get it from? Where did they get this information from if they didn't get it from the Sahaba? Go read all the books of the Salaf. Go back, and one of the oldest books in the Aqidah is what? And I'm talking about written specifically in Aqidah, because obviously the number one book of Aqidah is the Quran. But I'm talking about that when the people actually started putting and taking all the different narrations, dealing specifically with the Aqidah of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. One of the oldest books is what? All right, and you have that, but I'm talking about the bigger books that go into more detail. You see, like Al-Sharia al-Ajuri, one of the oldest books where he brings all the different narrations from the Salaf about the Aqidah to Salaf. Right? Go see if this was something that they used to do. Where is this ta'wil, and where is this changing and changing the meaning of the of the sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So if you don't see it from the Salaf, then what does that tell you? What does it tell you? I mean, it's wild there. What are they going to sit there and say that the Salaf were Ash'aris, that the Sahaba were Ash'aris? Allah, a'udhu billahi min sharrihim. And then, on top of that, their own sheikh made tawbah from it. Abu Hassan al-Ash'ari, he made tawbah from this. But they don't like to follow that. When he wrote Al-Ibana and he mentioned that he was on the Aqidah of Imam Ahmed, as far as Asma wa Sifat, that he changed. He made tawbah from all of that. But they reject that part of it, and they still want to continue following and calling themselves Ash'ari. You're not Ash'ari. You're not Ash'ari. It's just like the Christians calling themselves Christian, thinking that they're following, they are following some made-up person named Christ, because they're not following Isa alayhi salam. But you know what I'm saying? They think that they're following Jesus. They're not following nothing. You're following a human being. You're literally attributing yourself to a person. No, we call ourselves Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. We attribute ourselves to the Sunnah, the following of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because we believe what? La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. That the only one that has the right to be, worshipped is Allah. And the only one that has the right to be followed is the Messenger of Allah. That's it.
Not doubting. This is everyone can benefit from this question. Was the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Musa the only two Anbiya of Allah that spoke to Allah directly, or were there other Anbiya?
Allah.
And
Musa and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
كان في واحد ابن هذا سليمان أو أبوه أنا ما أدري.
داود. يتكلم عن داود.
يعني ماذا بس أنا أذكر فيه كان شخص راح عند الجبلين عشان يخلي عصفور حي أو شيء كذا.
That's Musa. No, he's talking about Ibrahim. أريني كيف تحيي الموتى قال ولم تؤمن. I mean, was he speaking to Allah directly? Look up the tafsir, inshallah. Later, inshallah, because it's almost time for salah.
One more question. So, would Malak Jibreel alayhi salam, is he considered a Nabi? Because we know he's a Rasul. But is he
Who?
Jibreel.
Jibreel, the angel?
Jibreel, yeah, the archangel.
How's he a prophet?
No, is he? The question.
No, how's he a prophet? He's the angel.
Because it's because
No, because the prophets are only men, humans.
because Allah said, Alhamdulillahi fatir as-samawati wal-ardi ja'il al-malaikati rusula.
Yeah, he sends the message to them.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, this is for Lugha. This is the understanding of Lugha, but it's not like a Rasul.
That's in Hajj. That's in Hajj. Is that what you read
Hamza.
that?
Huh?
Did you read that in Hajj?
Hajj?
Surah Al-Hajj.
Surah Hajj.
No, Surah is the Surah
I
Hajj.
just read that somewhere.
No, it's
I
the
think
first
I read
ayah.
it.
It's the first ayah in Surah Fatir. Alhamdulillahi fatir as-samawati wal-ardi.
Well, what's the question?
Which one was it again? Okay. Ustad, what are practical things we ask Muslims can do to help our brothers and sisters in Gaza, Palestine, individually and collectively?
Make dua. Make dua. What else can you do?
Yeah, he made an announcement. That's all.
What's that?
He made an announcement.
What do you mean?
No, him, Mujahid, he sent down an announcement. He said, it's almost time for the prayers. Khalas, no more questions.
I mean, we make dua for our brothers and sisters wherever they are. I mean, that's it, you know. You see the Prophet ﷺ, you know, he used to do the qunut and make dua on the kuffar and the mushrikeen when they attacked the Muslims. You know, he made dua. He would go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with dua. You didn't see the Sahaba going around protesting and doing all this type of stuff. So, Allah musta'an. You know, if a person wants to help the people and to help the Muslims, and be that person who takes responsibility for your community, go out and get knowledge of this religion and stop being, like, again, what we talked about in the beginning of this class, is to stop being so stingy. Look at what your goals are. Well, your goals even to like benefit the Muslims, or your goals just to benefit yourself and to get things for yourself. You know, because whatever it is, I mean, you're all obviously, whenever you go to work every single day, you're working for something that you're trying to achieve. It could be something as mundane and as, you know, it's just like keeping the bills, keeping the lights on, and keeping the gas going, and keeping a roof over your head. And it could be like, oh, I want a new iPhone, or I want a new car, or I want, whatever. If these are your goals, then how are you supposed to be helping the people that are struggling and getting killed overseas? You're selfish. You know, if you want to truly, truly, truly help the people, then start working towards, removing the ignorance of the people. Right now, the biggest problem amongst the Muslims is lack of knowledge of this deen. So because they have this lack of knowledge of the deen, it's caused them to no longer care. The deen now has just become something of a tradition. We just go to the masjid, for certain occasions. Look at this. I mean, subhanAllah, we see the masajid, it's empty. And then when you have classes and when you have things, it's empty. The people, they don't want to learn the deen, but then everybody wants to sit here and talk about what can we do for Gaza, You want to do something for Gaza, get in the masjid, learn your deen, and start calling the people to Tawheed. Stand up at the last third of the night and start making dua. And stop being so selfish and start, just focusing on nafsi. Because all the people now, they're just like, all they're trying to do is just like do things that will lie. They're going to bring like right now, what they're doing with all these protests. You know what's happening right now while these people are protesting? No. They're passing more and more laws, making it more and more illegal now for you to speak out against the Jews. So now it's getting to the point now, because of what they're doing in the colleges now, where there's more restrictions on the people. They're not making the situation for the people easier now. It's going to get to the point where they're going to keep doing this, where we're not even going to be able to mention anything about the Jews. Or even if it's an ayat in the Quran, we won't even be able to say it on the minbar because of what these people are doing now. They're making it worse for the Muslims. And they're not improving the situation of the people in Gaza at all. How are you sitting here like doing all these stupid protests and tents, mixed with a bunch of kuffar who are smoking weed and doing all this type of foolishness inside of the college. How is this helping the people of Gaza? How? And then when you tell the people, get up in the last third of the night, raise your hands up and make dua for the people, they say, we need more than that. You need more than that? Yeah, jahil. You that ignorant, but that's what you need. You need to go to a university, and hang out with a bunch of hippie kuffar that you ask them, what do you believe? I believe in everything. Like these clowns that came here the other day. Yeah, the super Sufis talking about we're every religion. The guys with the paint on their heads look like Hare Krishnas. Yeah, super Sufi. I don't know, super whatever they are, But the same thing, we believe in every religion. These are the type of people you're protesting with? Are you protesting with a bunch of homosexuals and all this people, rainbow power for Palestine? Yeah, we don't need that. That's not going to bring us no nasr from Allah. That right there is going to bring us the punishment of Allah. Yeah, we don't have nothing to do with these people. Yeah, our nasr comes from Allah. If you go and you give nasr to the deen of Allah and you call it tawheed and you call it the sunnah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you the nasr. But you don't have the patience for that. You got all the patience to do all this foolishness, but then to sit down and just study the most basic, the basics of your religion, you don't have the patience for it. But then you want to talk about what you can do for Gaza. You know what you can do for Gaza? Sit at home, pray, make dua, and keep your mouth shut. And stop, because wallahi, they're making this situation now. If you go right now and go through all the bills that have been passed through the Senate, while all these people have been protesting, all the anti-Semitism laws that are being passed in America, all around America right now. Go look at it and see what's happening while they're protesting. And that's why they allow these protests to happen. They allow it to happen because it makes it easy for them to pass these laws against the people. And you guys are the ones that are helping them do that. So that means that you're working for them. And you don't even understand. You don't even know it because you're actually making their job easier. Because they couldn't pass those laws before. But then when you act stupid and you go out to the streets and you cause chaos, it's easy for them now to do this martial law. It's easy for them to lock people down. It's easy for them to pass all these laws against the people. And you do that. And then you start to wonder, well, where did all the freedom in America go to? It went because you idiots going around causing chaos in the streets. If you want to solve it, you want to bring a solution to the problem, solve it in a way that's going to actually bring a solution. But you're making the situation worse for the Muslims. You're making it worse. Because now it's like, look, now you what? It's becoming more and more what? Divisive now. Now it's become more divisive amongst the people. That's not what Islam's supposed to be bringing. Islam brings al-furqan, bayn al-haqi wal-batil. But these people, what they're doing is they're bringing a furqan between what? Just ideologies and opinions. And what? This is batil. You're going to sit there and side with a homosexual just because the homosexual says, oh, we want rights for Palestine. Man, get up out my face. I don't care about you, because like I said, that homosexual sitting there talking about Palestine, that's what's going to get the people killed. Ain't nobody Allah ain't going to give us nasr, just going around being all friendly with these types of people. These are enemies of Allah. Enemies of Allah. We don't sit there and have love for the enemies of Allah and think that those are fireworks. Don't worry. You think it's gunshots? No, it's probably the baseball. I think they're fire. Inshallah, they're fireworks. Nah, those some big guns, boy. You heard it.
It's not very close too.
Huh? It's fireworks.
Oh.
Because those gunshots.
Police siren.
Go check. Go outside and listen.
No, you know what? That's probably fireworks at the stadium.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The baseball stadium. Yeah, it's too much to be.
Yeah, you still got siren.
Any gunshots around here, it's gonna be like gone.
It's over by the stadium.
Yeah, because they got those shot spotters.
I have a baseball.
Yeah. Yeah, those are fireworks. Ain't nobody gonna be still sitting around. Yeah, they're gonna be sitting around shooting that much, man.
I have a question.
Take us out to go look at the fireworks.
It's about the authority of a Muslim rule.
Nah, man, we gotta go over that. That's gonna take too long.
We'll be fast.
Huh?
So obviously in Islam, if a Muslim, if this is a Muslim country, if a Muslim kills another Muslim, it's upon the ruler to kill him. But what if in a Muslim country, Muslim ruler, a Muslim intentionally, wrongfully kills a kafir? What's his punishment? Is he to be killed or is
No, you can't. You don't kill a Muslim for a kafir. No.
So I was thinking about it.
No. A Muslim does not get killed for a kafir, no. That's it.
You get ransom?
I did. He pay off money. Yeah. If it's unjust, pay money to the family. But you don't kill him. Yeah. All right. Ilahuna subhanaka wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. You know how to cut this thing off? The problem is he left. I was about to tell him.